how Nassau County GOP responded. Newsday released a statement from Nassau GOP spokesman Mike Deary. He pushed back on the claim that the ad was anti-Semitic, and he said this, quote, "The Republican Party has no knowledge of the religion that either of the candidates in question observe. Nor do we associate illustrations of greedy and corrupt politicians holding money with any ethnic group, race, or religion." What's your response that their defense is essentially, we didn't know he was Jewish?
Yeah, I sincerely hope that Mr. Deary doesn't believe that the voters are that stupid, right? That is an absolutely asinine statement to make. It's asinine because I was not the only Jewish candidate this happened to this year, let alone in past campaigns. Again, it's an outrageous embarrassment that instead of doing the right thing, showing contrition and taking accountability, they're doubling down, which we believe is political malpractice because folks in the community are so outraged that they want accountability here. And again, I don't think there is one person stupid enough to take him at his word.
We touched on earlier anti-Semitic incidents on the rise across the country at elite universities, especially, including two places you graduated from, Cornell as well as Harvard. So how would you describe the moment that we're in right now?
Yeah, it's a really dangerous time. And I'll tell you, to having been on campus in Ithaca and in Cambridge, I felt the anti-Semitic undertones of the student body, and we saw demonstrations that we felt were anti-Israel. And this was years ago, right? This was 2016 and 2017. And so this is not new. I think what this moment is showing is something that Richie Torres and other members of Congress are calling the illiberal left, right? It's these radicalized college students who, quite frankly, in the wake of the most deadly terrorist attack proportionally in history in the 21st century, are coming out with celebratory, types of protests for Hamas, right? I mean, this is a clear moral test that these kids are completely failing. I blame social media and the rise of misinformation, especially on TikTok, to radicalize these young kids who are getting their news there. But I also blame college faculty who are spreading anti-Israel propaganda and nonsense. And quite frankly, as we're seeing, indoctrinating a generation of folks to hate Israel and to be misinformed about Israel, right? The idea that anybody would call Israel an apartheid state when knowing that Arabs and Jews alike have the right to vote and sit on the Supreme Court and serve in the Knesset, et cetera, right? Calling, Israel the aggressor here when they simply were responding to a terrorist attack. The radicalization of the student body is dangerous. And what I think is most dangerous is these are our elite universities, right? These are kids who are going to become the next generation of captains of industry and elected officials and so on. And so I think we have to think about accountability for these students, that if you're going to champion Hamas and you're going to champion terrorism, that perhaps Bill Ackman and these folks are within their right not to hire you at their companies.
You and I talked directly after the October 7th attacks, and you were calling people out by name in Congress, saying that their behavior was anti-Semitic. So I'm curious, a lot of this language, this anti-Semitic language, is coming from people who consider themselves progressive. So what do you think other Democrats need to do in this moment?
Sure, and again, I think the illiberal far left is a great way to describe it. And I think Democrats of good conscience and moderate Democrats like myself need to continue to call out emphatically that these folks are on the fringe and don't represent the majority of the party. Right, I represent, as a Democrat, a very significant Jewish population here on the North Shore of Long Island, and these are folks who I believe are in line with my brand of politics, which is that, of course, we support Israel, and that we are unwavering in our support of our most important ally, and that we condemn anti-Semitism and we condemn Hamas's terrorist attack. And so the numbers in Congress, as you saw on the resolution condemning Hamas, I think it was 94% of the Congress came out in support, which shows that the overwhelming majority of Republicans and Democrats are on the same page here. But as Democrats, we have to call out those on the fringe and say that they do not speak for us.